Our next presenter is going to be Bill Singleton with Ecopia AI. Bill is going to talk about automated feature extraction using the Hexagon Content Program. Bill is going to talk about some building footprints and railway transportation, roads, sidewalks, pervious and impervious surfaces. So Bill, you're up next, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Randy. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about how Ecopia is working with Hexagon to digitize the world using artificial intelligence. We've been doing this for up to 10 years now, going back to the PhD research from our CEO. And we have really managed to be able to create highly precise features at truly continental scales. And that's allowing us to work very closely with all of the great data that Randy has been discussing a little bit earlier on to build these feature maps that are ready to use by government entities at all levels. In today's presentation, what I want to talk to you about is I'm just going to give you a quick background of our technology and what our vision is, but I really do want to get to successful use cases that we are working with the government right now to give all of the state representatives here an idea of how our maps are being used at every single level in order to try to make the lives of GIS users a little bit easier. So as Randy mentioned, we want to be a huge part in helping Hexagon get to the digital twin of the future. There's many different use cases for having this great base map data once it's been created, but really a lot of this fantastic information is locked up in the pixels at the moment. And it takes a very long time for customers to be able to, once they intake that data, to be able to transfer it into the base maps that are necessary for the everyday use. I'm going to go over a couple different examples of how some of these government entities are using our data today, just to give you guys some ideas, but also talk to you about the content that we're going to be building across the entire country. So this is actually the first example of the first iteration of what we're going to be building with Hexagon. It's going to be a 3D map of the entire US with cities in Alaska being done, but it'll be coast to coast because of Hexagon's great coverage across every single state. And it'll include 13 classes. Really, the main objective is we want to help get you guys the maps so that you can get right to work. Obviously, once pixels come in, there's a lot of teams that have to do a lot of manual work in order to create some of these base maps. We want to have content that's ready to go so that you guys can start your statistical analysis and your modeling almost immediately. There's a number of different ways that people are using our data, from assessing canopy coverage to doing sidewalk inventories, which is huge for ADA compliance, right up to creating 3D models for the smart cities of the future. We're working with a lot of telecom companies to help people understand where they need to be putting 5G access points so that cities can be ready for all of the new applications of the future. So this isn't automation that you might be used to. Obviously, there's a lot of people who have some experience working with eCognition or Envy. We have been working at this for 7 years as an organization, +3 with the PhD research. And really what we've been doing is making it's the next generation of automation. However, the one thing I always want to bring up is all of our results are triple checked by a small team of GIS professionals. Again, I really want to stress that all of our maps, we want to have a situation where you guys are getting content and there's no post-editing required, so that you can get right to work in using these maps after you make your imagery purchase. And so by using automation, by leveraging automation as much as possible and using a small team of GIS professionals, we can provide continental vector maps, but still at the efficiency and the cost effectiveness at using machine learning applications. And so we can create the highest accuracy maps that have the complete scale, but also keep them up to date on a more frequent, much more frequently. And that's where we'll be working with Hexagon as they collect more content on the national scale. We'll be updating all of our base maps. And we're actually in the process of finalizing a 5-year agreement. So we're going to be working on this for many years to come, so that this content will always be available for your teams. So we've just begun the program. This is a quick map of areas that we have that we're completing or we're just beginning in process. The main thing that I'd like to get across here is we intend to have the entire US complete by January 2021. So what that means is we will have vector data that's available off the shelf that we provide both to commercial and governmental clients. And that's another reason why we can actually keep costs down, is we're actually trying to share the base map costs amongst many different players, so that you can get the best maps that are kept up to date and ready to be used at the most efficient cost possible. So I want to just give you a couple of quick examples. One of our first projects that we worked in was working in King County in Washington. This is where we extracted the 13 features that we've decided upon to work at a national level. We did 2,300 square miles in a few short months, and we've just continued to start to expand upon our ability to exponentially increase our capacity. So I just want to provide a quick sample of what some of these maps look like, just so you have a sense. Now, there is a lot of flexibility. There are certain communities who prefer certain features extracted in different types of ways, whether that be with sidewalks, impervious surfaces, driveways, canopy layers. So that's just a quick conversation that we need to have, and we can adapt all of our maps in order to create the base map that works the best for your community. And you can see the 13 layers that we'll be creating in the bottom right-hand corner. The 13 layers will include bare lands, buildings, driveways, forests, grasslands, parking, pavement, railway, and you can read the rest in the bottom right corner. And so we actually work with a number of different communities, and these different vector features can be combined to help different kinds of entities. So in this particular example, what we were working with with the city of Detroit was they actually have an impervious surcharge tax system where they charge people for the increase in impervious surfaces on their parcel land, and they wanted a much faster way to keep this up to date on an annual basis. So we actually create an impervious surface layer for Detroit, and this is what we want to be able to do for all water utilities across the US. And then there's a number of other public utilities that this kind of information can be helpful for. But you can see the quick quote from Dan Rainey, the CIO of Detroit Water and Sewage, in the bottom left-hand corner. Without Ecopia as a partner, we would spend a lot more of our analyst time working on abnormalities and other data issues. Ecopia has been a real partner to us, delivering a cost-effective service while also working to make sure we have the very best data available. And really, that's where we want to see ourselves. We want to be pixel experts that can help create the maps that you need so that you can get right to work with the kind of analysis that needs to be completed to make your communities better. One of the last things that we're starting to evolve to, and this is something that we can speak of on a case-by-case basis, but is by doing advanced transportation analysis for separate communities. Yes, sidewalks are included, as sidewalks, driveways, and other roadways are included in our basic national content plan, but we can also work with Hexagon data to extract even further information for things like Department of Transportation, when you're either doing pedestrian, bicycle, or automotive transportation plans. So one example is actually some work that we did with SEMCOG. So this actually was what we worked with was a 5,000 square mile area that included 13 counties across southeastern Michigan. And what we did was we did all of the crosswalks and sidewalks and parking lots for this community. And so that was actually for a pedestrian transportation plan. And we were able to, and you can see a quick quote from Kathleen Lamenko here, in the bottom corner here. And really what we want to do is be able to help their teams avoid the timely requirement of having to go in and draw all of these features after maps are purchased. The last example I'd like to give you guys is some work that we did with the Contra Costa County that was actually supported by Caltrans. And so this is the example that you'd seen earlier where we are extracting many different types of transportation features from Hexagon aerial imagery, where we can start to give a better understanding of how all of the road networks are connected. And this can even be important for logistics, AI vehicles, and also for other forms of pedestrian analysis. So just to be mindful of time, really I just wanted to quickly summarize. We are building all different kinds of vector maps from Hexagon's great data program. We can scale this across the full state. So we are taking advantage of the great work that Hexagon's doing to get full state coverage, but still be able to provide you those detailed 3D HD maps that you're looking for without all of the hassle of having to spend internal resources time in order to build that base map before you can get started with your analysis. We want to be working with Hexagon for a very long time in creating the digital twin of the future. And we really look forward to being able to help out all of the communities that are here today at the HxGN conference. I want to thank you guys for taking some time to hear from us, and I'll pass it back to Randy.
Thank you, Bill. Very exciting things going on, with the Hexagon Content Program. We really look forward to the relationship with Ecopia in developing all of the new feature extraction. I tell you, coming from a fairly lengthy photogrammetric background, seeing what you can do automated is just mind-boggling. The hours and hours and hours it used to be spent manually extracting all of those features. So, Bill, again, thank you. All the HxGN attendees, again, want to thank you for viewing our presentation, and look forward to virtually discussing and socializing with all of the HxGN attendees. We'll do the best we can, and we'll make the best of the situation, and look forward to seeing everyone in the future.